Friends of ONU, welcome. We got Heidelberg week here, homecoming, the Bendo Bowl. A lot to kind of go over, I think, to give you a little review of last week and then preview this coming week. And kind of to wrap up last week, one of the big things that we talked about was a great lesson in details. A great lesson for our guys to, hopefully take some of those, some of the things that we took from that game and kind of apply them forward. One of the things that's kind of a foundation of our program that we talk a lot about is, there's wins and there's lessons. There's really only truly losses if you don't learn from a game, if you don't learn from a situation. So, going forward, we feel like there's a lot of things we can take from that game that we can hopefully, make sure that we learn from, going forward. So I think a lot of things happened in that game that were very unusual in all my years coaching. I think sometimes you'll hear coaches say things like, if you coach long enough, you see about everything. And that was one of those games that kind of tested you to say, wow, there were things that happened in that Baldwin Wallace game that I'd never seen before. So our guys have been, I think, determined, going forward to kind of take some of those lessons and apply them. With homecoming, homecoming always, I think, really just has a special place in our heart, and a lot of that has to do with the tradition that we are part of, and it's always such a great reminder for our players of what they are part of and what is their DNA and who has been before them, the great teams, the great players, and just how special it is to be part of a place that has such great tradition. And what we talk about with our guys is with that tradition, there's a responsibility. There really are obligations and responsibilities to uphold that tradition, to move forward, to just carry the torch, if you will. So we're excited about, I think, the way the guys will respond this week, and optimistic that they can learn from what happened. This week also represents the Bendo Bowl. For many of you, Ron Bendekovic was an assistant coach here, 2004 and 5. My first 2 years here, he was the first guy I hired. And, Ronnie was just a huge part of our program and, a great coach. Ronnie passed away at the age of 34 years old in the middle of the towards the end of the 2005 season. And, his younger brother, Jason, who had been an assistant coach at Heidelberg, passed away 5 years after that in 2010, almost to the week. So I knew both those guys going back to my first coaching job at Allegheny College. They were both great players on some tremendous teams that went deep in the playoffs. And, so that they, both just what an unbelievable tragedy. They made a huge impact, both of them in both programs, Heidelberg and ours. So the Heidelberg head coach, Mike Howell, and I, got together and decided to come up with the Bendekovic Bowl, the Bendo Bowl, to really honor both of those guys and also the great rivalry we have with Heidelberg. So that's kind of what that game's all about. And we've tried to educate our guys on who both of those guys were and what they were all about. And I think that's been good to reflect on some of those really special memories. Specifically with Heidelberg, they're an excellent football team. They've had two very close losses to two teams that are in the top 25. So you could argue they're basically a Hail Mary away and a weird play against John Carroll, maybe 2 to 3 plays away from being 2-0. And if they were 2-0 with those two quality wins, they'd probably be in the top 25. So this is an excellent football team that's going to require us to play well. And we're determined and confident based on our week of practice that there's some positive momentum that we've generated throughout the week, and are excited to see where where everything stacks up on Saturday. Hope you're there. If you're not there, hope you can follow it online and kind of follow the Polar Bears in a game real soon if you can't be here in person this week. So thanks for your time. Go Bears.